good down there? Ruth, we good? Is Alan, is he good? Good? You good? Good evening. We will start this evening's activities with 2 budget hearings and then proceed into our regular board meeting. The first is the open the revenue neutral rate hearing for the purpose of allowing the public comment related to exceed the revenue neutral rate for the 25-26 school year. Allow for the time for public comment. Ask for a motion to approve the resolution, and a roll call vote is required on the first hearing. Tonight we have the 2 final steps to complete the 25-26 formal budget process and meet the September 20 deadline. The first is the hearing to exceed the revenue neutral rate. This also part of our obligations, it had to be published in the Hayes Daily as well as the Rush County News, and one was on August 9th and Rush was on August 13th. Is that okay? Is there any public comment dealing with the revenue neutral rate hearing? Okay, seeing none. I would ask for a motion to approve the resolution expressing the proper, no, am I in the right spot? Yeah. For the, to exceed the revenue neutral tax rate.
I make a motion to approve the resolution.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. The motion states to approve a resolution expressing the property taxation policy of USD 49 Hayes with the respect to exceeding the revenue neutral tax rate for financing the annual budget for 25-26. Is that, am I good? I don't do this every day. All right. Okay. All righty. Any discussion about the board members? Seeing none.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
I have a question about when was the certification to succeed the revenue neutral submitted?
Say that again?
The certification to succeed the revenue neutral rate.
Right, so there's, the timeline requires that we submit the revenue neutral rate. We receive the revenue neutral rate from the county clerk.
Right.
Then I provide them with what our estimated revenue neutral rate would be. That'd be the notice back to the county.
Now, does that information come from KASDE, what you come over your budget that they?
No, that's from the budget that we put together based on the county evaluation and the general fund and all the different pieces that go into it. So that I provide it back to the county clerk. County clerk does the mailing across the district. And every taxing entity is included in that mailing. Then we have the hearing. Oh, well, we do the publications. So we have to publish in the Hayes Daily News. We also published this year in the Rush County News because there was some back and forth at the state level about whether the districts were required to publish everywhere we have ground or just the districts identified newspaper. So we did both to be safe. So now the hearing is the next step in the process. After that is done, then I certify it to the county clerk, and the county clerk will set tax table based on that.
And what are the reasons? I mean, we're supposed to provide reasons that we're wanting to increase taxes and exceed the revenue neutral. So salaries.
Right. So those are those are all the pieces that we talked about during the board retreat. A couple of different things.
After the budget was complete.
Right. After the calculation is complete. Yes.
They're all listed. They're listed in your board agenda.
Yeah.
They're right there. You know where they're at, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, but when was the certification sent in? What is the certification? Do you send?
Certification is after this hearing. Then I certify it to the county clerk that this is what was adopted by the board.
So there wasn't any type of certification in July?
No,
that you send?
we provide the numbers back to the county clerk in July.
What type of document is that? Is it,
Right, that's just providing them notice of, this is what the anticipated maximum mill rate would be, and whether or not, and the tax dollar, the tax amounts that go with that, and whether or not those tax dollars would exceed the revenue neutral rate.
so we are increasing taxes with this because it's exceeding, and how much increase are we from last year?
Right, so that's all part of what we covered with the work retreat. It depends on which fund specifically.
So total budget, our budget last year and budget this year, how much is it increased because of exceeding the revenue neutral?
So that's
Percentage? and we have a
difficult to answer
percentage,
in a one-word answer, right? So first off, the 20 mills,
right?
the county valuation, our portion to the school district went up 1.43%. Right? So the 20 mills that goes to Topeka
Right.
will exceed by 1.43%.
And we have no
That has
control
nothing
over
to
that.
do- Right, that has nothing to do with, that is legislation that says this 20 mills goes to Topeka. So that assessment, those taxes are going up 1.43% as a whole.
We do have control of that capital outlay because that's the 8%,
Correct.
that's the maximum that we can do, correct?
So when you said, so the taxation would go up 1.43%, but if you remember, our state aid went down, so total revenue in capital outlay will be down. I think word off the top of my head, if we can go back through the notes here that I provided, I think capital outlay went up, the taxation, the tax base went up 51,000 year over year, but our state aid went down 106, I believe, so we'll be lower in capital outlay revenue than we were year over year.
So can you explain, I mean, because I saw that it was like 3 million something and change. 3 million is what we're going to be raising, correct? But then there's another spot that says that the budget expenditures will be 7 million. So is that, what is that?
So again, so now we're talking about a couple different things then.
Okay.
On the revenue side, that's the mill rate and the taxation. On the expense side of the budget, we include our cash carryover to have budget authority to be able to spend that based on what our cash balance is plus the anticipated revenue.
So we doubled our capital outlay
Say again?
with carryover. We doubled it from what we're getting 3 million to 7 million.
No, the total expenditures are a function of cash carryover plus anticipated revenue based on the 8 mills.
Right. So it's cash carryover and the revenue of the 3 million plus, and that total is up. We have the ability to spend 7 million in capital outlay.
Correct. You would have the budget authority to do that. It wouldn't be wise to do that, but you have the budget authority to do that. That's the
Okay.
resources available.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Can you make layman's terms for me? A vote of yes means, and a vote of no means.
A vote of yes means we adopt, a vote of yes means you can, in your next vote, which is adopting the budget, can exceed the revenue neutral rate, which is what is built into the budget based on our student count and weightings and bills and capital outlay and bond and interest required cash flow. So this vote said, a vote yes here says, in my next hearing, I can adopt the budget as published. We have the ability to do that. A vote no would say you can't adopt the budget as it was published. You would have to adopt a lower number.
Okay.
It gets extremely confusing, and the bottom line is this hearing is almost identical to the budget hearing, which happens next. In both cases, you're addressing what your mill levy is. In this one, you're addressing what the maximum mill levy could be, and in the next one, you're adopting the actual mill levy. Those maximums, again, are set by legislation.
So in this vote, we are not technically raising anything. We are just saying,
You're giving yourself the authority to do it in the next.
You're giving,
We are raising taxes.
no, this one gives us the authority to,
this one gives us the option to.
the authority
We have
to.
every year.
And you have to have, this is deadline.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So in order to be able to exceed the revenue neutral, if you're going to adopt the budget as published, then you would have to approve this resolution. If you don't approve this resolution, then in the next hearing, then we would have to start doing some math and just determine.
And pass it done today.
Listen, this has already been a lot of math already.
Yeah.
Kind of hurts.
Now, the deadline is the 20th. Is that this for the revenue neutral and the budget?
Yes. Well, yes, it's for both, but you can't, I mean, you have to have them both done by the 20th, so you.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we had the hearings, we had those published, and that part is done for the revenue neutral.
Publish at least 10 days before your hearing, too.
That's it, for the hearing, but not our vote, doesn't matter when we do
Your
that.
your vote is
This
the
is the
hearing.
hearing.
I mean.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Your vote of the hearing can be after the hearing, because a lot of people have their hearing, and then they make a decision on their vote.
No.
It's all,
I checked with KSB,
Okay.
and they said the deadline is the 20th. Not, the hearing we published, but the published notice is for the hearing, not for a vote.
I
Our
think
vote is a
Mr.
meeting.
Jeter could probably answer that question for us.
I can't,
You can?
no,
Okay.
not without looking at the statutes and taking some time to read
That's
it.
what KSB,
Okay. Anybody have any other questions for Mr. Hipp?
Yeah, do you have like a plan A and a plan B just in case?
well, as we talked about during the board retreat at length, at this stage of the game, the budget is established. We start this process, and yes, it culminates in these two hearings, but we start this process in February and March when we begin negotiations, right? And we work through that, and we continue to refine this budget through project planning and every meeting that we have throughout the year. So it's a year-long process to get to here. When we get here, a lot of what's happening is we're estimating our student count to refine exactly as close as we think we can to what they call it legal max, but it's the actual budget authority for your budget, and then working that backwards into the actual mill rates. So to say Plan A and Plan B, at this point in time, the money is allocated. The only Plan B would be you spend contingency reserve to do the things that you've already committed to over the last 3 or 4 months.
Or we
So
cut
that's the-
something.
yeah.
Or we cut something.
Or, I mean, there's only,
Yeah.
Yeah.
those are the only two
That's
options.
it, that's it.
Yeah,
You have
this
to cut
is,
something.
you don't do it now. You decide that way back in March when we start negotiations. So,
I agree, those are pieces, but the whole development of the budget, you guys did, and with very little input from us. Yes, you bring us different things that we approve, sometimes only one option, but information, we're supposed to be explicitly determine what we are doing that justifies raising these taxes. And I don't think we've done that. I don't think we spend the time doing it. We did spend some time at the retreat, but I don't think we've done enough as a board. The needs assessment, the statute says that we're supposed to use those needs assessment to prepare the budget. We found out about the needs assessment at the retreat. The budget was already done. There's a lot of things, curriculum. Our job is to, what about the curriculum? What are the changes at the high school for curriculum as far as budget? What has been increased? What has been decreased? Those are questions that I don't have the answer to.
Well, it's my understanding that if you exceed revenue neutral by 1 penny, you've exceeded it, correct?
Yes.
So that can be a ream of paper that exceeds it, so.
But the history has been, it's always been the max.
Alan, when has taxes ever gone down? When have taxes ever gone down? You tell me when and where, and I'll be happy to research it. Until then, this has to be done now. You've had every opportunity to question the administration. I've reached out to Chris and Ron several times. In mine, salary in one is the one we all voted on for teacher increases in salary. So where are you going to cut? So those are the discussions you have to have of what are you going to get rid of?
And all those discussions should be done in the boardroom, not in private, in my opinion. So I will be voting against this because I don't, like I said, I don't think we've spent the due diligence to justify it and to increase the capital outlay after we've taxed our community so much, 143 million plus, and that concerns me that we're taxing, and not adjusting a little bit. The county, I think, or the city cut back a little bit. We should be looking at it a little bit closer.
The city stayed revenue neutral. They stayed the same. The county will increase. The county will increase. Two, because they didn't raise last year.
So that would have been a good discussion for us to really say, well, why can't we do
Discussion
it?
for what? That's the county and the city.
But in July, it was already certified that we were going to do it without our approval.
Well, I guess my point would be is if everybody up here votes no this evening, then I want to know where the budget cut's going to be tonight. That's my opinion. You tell me what we're going to get
Well,
rid of.
but it doesn't have to be approved tonight. You have some weeks to look it over.
Okay. Are we good? All righty. Jess, do you have a roll call vote?
Alan Park, how do you vote?
No.
Bert Wagner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ken Brooks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jamie Getz, how do you vote?
No.
Ruth Ruder, how do you vote?
Yes.
Megan Sanford, Wilcott, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-2.
The motion passes 4-2. Okay, the second budget hearing action is to open the hearing for the purpose of hearing patron comments relating to the FY 26 district budget. 2, allow time for public comments, and 3, ask for a motion to approve the district budget as published. This one does not require a roll call vote. If so desired, we can do it, but we will go from there. Okay, is there any public comment about the fiscal year 26 district budget? Okay, again, seeing no comment, any questions from the board? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the district budget, district as published and presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Anybody want a roll call vote, or are we just good, yes, no?
Roll call vote, please.
Okay, we're asking for a roll call vote. Jess, can you do that again for us, please?
Alan Park, how do you vote?
No.
Bert Wagner, how do you vote?
Yes.
Brooks, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jamie Getz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ruth Ruder, how do you vote?
Yes.
Megan Sanford, Wilcott, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1.
Motion passes 5-1. Thank you. That should conclude our budget hearings. Ready to move into or to start our regular school board meeting on September 8th.
Mr. President, I make the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I shall call for the vote. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, no. Passes 6-0. The USD 49 district mission, vision, core values, and strategic planning. The mission of USD 49 is to provide a quality learning experience for every student in every classroom every day. To support the mission of the district, the USD 49 Board of Education includes supporting a vision that encompasses high student achievement, highly effective staff, effective and positive communications, and for effective management of resources. Also vital to keeping focus on the district mission and the vision are that the USD supports the district core values. Okay, we have a consent agenda is up next.
Yeah, on the consent agenda, you will find board meeting minutes from August 18th, Hayes Rec Commission agenda and minutes from their meeting in August. You have personnel transactions, no retirements. on that list, quite an extensive list. You will also find a marketing partnership contract. This is for a Founders Partners package, which is just a contract that you've seen with other businesses that have decided to partner with us for the $7,500 for 3 years, and that's from the insurance guys. You also have from ECC just a notification about a grant that they are applying for. This is for I believe, a garden and some green space that they're hoping to receive grant funds for. And financials.
Probably the one most exciting one to open would be the bond project tracking. So if you take a look at that, you'll notice that the revenue estimates of the bond project fund estimate has been updated. We have been, the last couple of years, we've been doing a September 1st interest and arbitrage estimate. Because we're closing in on design and planning for the last building in the projects, we upped that to an 8-1 estimate. So we had our partners, Gilmore Bell and also Piper Sandler, go to work and get us those updated estimates as of 8-1. The really exciting news is interest continues to be strong, and arbitrage is, don't ask me to explain it because I can't explain all the details that go into it. I know, generally speaking, we can only make so much interest based on how long we hold the money and all of those things. But based on both the arbitrage and the interest already gained and realized, as well as projected interest remaining over the course of the life of the bond projects, we're up about $1 million. So that adds a little more cushion, a little more room for as we roll into design and planning and design, I guess, for Belton Elementary. And I think probably worth noting is you'll notice the unallocated is kind of our shock absorber, kind of our cushion to make sure in case they're underestimating arbitrage or overestimating if something happens. Because we're getting so much closer to the end of the project piece of it, we need a little less in that shock absorber. So you can see, I think we're estimating 750-ish in 725,000 remaining in projected interest. So we're holding 500,000 in unallocated right now. The other thing that we haven't actually budgeted is the sale of property. We've got $1 million held there, but we know we were at 850 for Lincoln, so that would most likely be higher by the time this project sells. So I think all very positive news as we move into planning and design for the last building.
Good. Yes, sir.
I missed one retirement. That got added last minute. I've known about him for quite a while. Mark Romey, 34 years with the districts, just a great guy. Been a great custodial and worker for our district in so many ways. So
Effective?
Start of November, I believe. Yeah, end of October. He's going to go, I guess, root for the Chiefs. I don't know what he's going to do. Full time. Yeah.
He's like a statue. He runs out there with the crosswalk at the... All right. Okay, and then this is my clarification. Gold Gym is the smaller gym?
Gym is the volleyball gym.
That's the smaller gym?
Yeah, right.
They were A and B back in the olden days. We're gold and
So we kept A
Maroon.
and B generally, I don't know if Tom will keep it that way, but right now when we refer to A and B, we're still talking.
maroon gold.
Yeah.
Is that word?
Maroon is the bigger gym, gold is the smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll learn new terminology. All right, thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to pull 3.4, the HHS balance package. Get more information on that, please.
3.4 on the consent agenda.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, while she's taking care of that, I'll make the motion to approve it. On the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second it.
What was it?
Okay, we're taking 3.4.
What was the title?
The marketing partner.
It's 3.4 right there, the marketing partnership contract. I'm assuming it's going to become 6.3. We good?
Yes, now we make a motion.
Mr. Brooks,
Okay. Second.
Megan, or?
Go with Megan.
Okay. All those in favor vote yes?
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, no?
Passes 6-0.
Okay. Consent agenda passes 6-0. Okay, next is public forum. Do we have anybody wanting to address the board this evening? Okay. Seeing none. Reports is number 5 on our agenda. 5.1, District Communications. Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, just some bond updates. So Laughlin, I don't know if you've been by there recently, on the north end, they're closest to TMP, the driveway there at TMP, they're blocking up those classrooms. It's definitely not completed, but making progress there. They've poured the slab on the other side, the south side, and so they'll start probably getting ready to set steel here fairly soon. Hayes Middle, we've begun demo in Hayes Middle as they moved out of the new high school and over to Hayes Middle, and have started demo over there, as well as our crews doing a lot of work over there. At Hayes High, just wanted to mention the ribbon cutting event was well attended. Thanks to all of you for coming. It was a great event, great night, great way to kick off the start of some great memories in that place. I did include just some pictures that I took of the Hayes Middle School bathroom concessions building that is almost complete. So it's really a nice facility. Thought to have Shannon give a little KISA update.
Yes, KISA is the Kansas System Accreditation, and so we had a 6-month check in August 27th, and we are on target with our 6-month target was to create a scope and sequence at all grade levels so that across the district we've had vertical alignment with the standards and making sure we're looking at any gaps, making sure we're consistent with vocabulary. So we had teachers work this summer, and we have a document that's being used to draft. We will continue to gather feedback throughout the year, but there's a scope and sequence that's chunked into about 6 weeks of instruction. And so that's fully implemented. The high school, just due to some change in their leadership of their department chair, we're going to do that here next PD Day, next Monday, or the week after, depending on the amount of time it takes. So that's the last piece of that. And then our 1-year target, our next step is to create common assessments using priority standards so that we have an assessment we can give locally, aligned to standards, it's going to be elite measures. So we can give feedback to teachers as to where we may need to do some extra instruction.
As well, a couple other outlets within Kansas. As part of special ed funding, we get some funding through Medicaid services, or Medicaid. Part of that is through fee for service. Then they have another outlet called cost settlement, where they go back 2 years in the past, look at your expenses during that year, do some math, and tell you how much they're going to reimburse off of what we spent versus how much services we received. There's a complicated formula that goes into it. Part of that formula, the vendor, PCG, that's the state, the contractor that helps the state with this work, they get some data from KDHE, and they use that data to help calculate what they're going to reimburse the districts. They discovered last year that there was some error in how that was being calculated, and they went back and found that over 7 years, that error had existed. So they went back and ran the numbers for the past 7 years for every school district in the state, and they found that for some of those districts, PCG had paid us too much money, or paid the districts too much money. So potentially for us, that was 7 years. We have 5 districts, so they looked at each district for each year. There were potentially 35 payments that would have been affected. We got lucky, only 8 of our payments were affected, where they had to adjust. That totaled out to $33,972. The options for repayment, in most cases, if you get overpaid, say you're, as an employee, you get paid too much over the course of a couple of years, and they find that legally you have the right or the opportunity to pay that back over the same amount of time the error occurred. In this case, because it's the vendor who's wanting their money, they're a private entity that's saying, hey, we gave you too much of our money. They are requiring us to pay it all back. One thing that I wish KDHE would step up and say, hey, we'll take that, here, we'll give you the money, and then you pay us back. They haven't done that. Luckily, ours is an amount that can be absorbed in a single year. When we found out about it, about April or May, I can't remember the exact timeline. There was some finagling going back and forth and figuring out how the repayment was going to happen and all that stuff. But the amount was fit into our budget as we already planned. It meant that our cash carryover at the end of the year was going to be a little bit less, but overall it didn't affect decisions, it didn't affect recommendations for staffing or how much districts needed to pay in their portion of the special ed block. It didn't impact anything. We got lucky with that. Some districts are having to pay back $300,000, which costs $3 million, obviously. And they're having to pay that back all within. The option was either to have it withheld from upcoming payments, which that's what we did for most of ours. A couple of our payments, or a couple of our expected payments for this year ended up not being as much as we owed, so they just didn't pay us, and we'll send them a check to balance out. So it was either pay it back out of those or pay it within the year. Like they were going to give the districts a year to get it figured out, which in a school budget, it's all the same. It comes out in September, or it comes out in May, it still has the same general impact on our budget. Of course, cash flow and stuff is different in the story. For our size, it wasn't a big issue. So that's kind of what we've heard. For us, it ended up just being a little bit of a rounding error, luckily, whereas other districts have.
So Kyle, to quickly clarify, so we were $34,000 difference. We've paid back with withdrawals from payments that were going to come our way.
So this payment always comes either at the end of June or the beginning of July.
And so
they'd already held that money out of that.
So we're paid up. Okay, thank you.
There might be one more invoice that comes to
Okay,
bank out. In our budget, we've already that money not being there.
thank you very much.
The other thing, Education Funding Task Force, that was created a year and a half ago by the legislature as a way to look at the education funding formula, looking at everything from how general education is funded all the way through special ed and other special programs, such as ELL. In August, they met to talk about special ed for a full day. I'd gone there and listened to their presentations. They heard about the current funding model, some different, how different states do a funding model. Particularly the task force is really looking at a per student with an IEP model. So based off of how many IEPs does your district have, funding going to be generated off of that number. I have my own personal professional disagreement with funding off of a per IEP model, because I don't want people in an IEP meeting thinking that the decision what a formula like that would look like, but they did also invite the voice of special education directors and other school administrators to have a voice in how that looked. We met in Salina a couple weeks ago, and we'll talk about the different formulas, work on weightings that would maybe work for those different levels, kind of address some of the concerns I had. I still have concerns, but they're less so. The current recommendation would have a main weighting per IEP, and then after you got past a certain percentage, in this case it was 17%, then you'd be funded at a little bit less. So that would kind of deter just placing kids just to get funding, because it comes with a lot of risk and cost just with having an IEP. And so there is some mechanisms there like that. The other concern was with smaller districts, if they don't have enough students, there's still a certain threshold for funding that a school needs to operate a special ed program, so they have a low enrollment weighting that they've included into that. Overall, so last week, they met and we shared that. Sped directors were part of the presentation to share about the idea. Big thing coming from the main model would be a per student model. We also talked about there are some students that need high cost programs, those special school, special programs, those kinds of things. They still want to make sure that it's funded appropriately to make sure the students are getting the services they need without becoming too much of a challenge for districts to pay and provide that. So they talked about some options for that. And then they also talked about different ways of tying outcomes. So how well the districts are doing to use some of that funding. Federal does this already where we are not compliant in certain areas. A certain portion of our federal funds have to be used to close those areas. Disabilities or disproportionate identification of students with disabilities. So I'm part of my recommendation. I've got some information I was going to write up and share with the task force directly. Part of that recommendation is going to be identifying a couple of the metrics that we already measure, things like graduation rates and tuition rates, because those are the most predictive of lifetime like success after high school, and figuring out how we can have a target for those. And if you're above the target, you have freedom to use your funds how you feel is appropriate, because you're clearly making decisions that are helpful for kids. If you're below those targets, I would recommend that if you have to target certain amount of your funding to make some of those that make sense, as opposed to having a incentive or the incentive where you get money for making it, where you lose money for not, and if you're not making it, you take the money away and there. So I think just for how that money is appropriated would be more appropriate. That's my personal opinion as far as how it would work. But overall, it's very good. I'm glad that the task force is accepting our input and willing to have conversations. The current funding model that sunsets in June 2027, so they have to have a plan in place by then for all education funding. So we're probably still waiting out for the also, if there are any major changes to the funding formula, I would expect that there's going to be like a year of adjustment where we continue to go along and moving to a new model, just to allow systems to adjust. Because if you were to switch from, we're currently funded as a reimbursement per teacher and other things, but that's the main one. To change from how we collect data to communicate what we need to be reimbursed for versus how we communicate the students that we need to be reimbursed for are different mechanisms. So we want to make sure we have systems that can support it.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, there's some other information, but I think it's all there for you. So if you have any questions.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Weiner, I have questions about the punch list and the completion. When was the completion date for the high school?
August 13th.
14? 13? Now, so is there penalties if it wasn't completed by the 13th? We didn't have that in there at all?
Well, it was
In our contract?
substantial completion, and so it was substantially completed.
So our
But-
contract read that we had to be to substantial completion by August 13th. That means that we could be in there and functioning and school could be going on. Punch list items are typically at the end, more like things that don't impact the day-to-day and wouldn't require a full force to go in to take care of it and fix it.
Well, things like the bathroom's lock's broken, because that was one thing I noticed, a couple bathrooms they had put out of order.
Sure.
So do they take care of that, or do we have to take care of
Yeah.
that? Okay, the metals room.
We'll take care of everything up to a year.
The metals room was not complete. It's still just a
Yeah, it's
storage room.
complete. It's complete.
It's complete now?
Yeah.
It wasn't for that,
complete. It was complete.
not for that night, for our,
Well,
night of
the equipment
13.
had just not been moved in.
The hoods, they're all rusted, are they, is that fixed?
The hoods being rusted,
Yeah, they're all rusted and look terrible.
I don't know.
And all the last time, well, when I was in there that night, it was full of, is that ready? Is that,
Are you talking
they
about
have
the
class
new-
in that room now? The metal shop?
The new metal shop, it wasn't rusted.
No,
I thought they were a specific color. I don't think that was rust.
No, they're rusted. Go back and look. And then all the storage for all the, and are the dispensers all placed now that were in there? The hundreds of dispensers, all the paper towel dispensers that were not, was that our responsibility or Naples?
They did put up some dispensers, I believe. I don't know. Yeah, we have dispensers, so I'm not concerned.
So are we having class in that room now?
Yes. Well, they technically have not had class in that room. I think they went, because they're working on safety, so they're not needing to be in that room yet.
Well,
But that's not Naples. You're talking, the room is ready. The room is done.
Okay.
That's what we take care of. That's what we got. It's all taken care of.
so all those dispensers are out of there now and put up in every, because there was no dispenser on all those sinks in all the classrooms, so that's our responsibility, not Naples? Yes, no?
Yeah, well, the dispensers are there.
They're up in the classroom, okay. So is that punch list our punch list or the Naples punch list?
That's Naples.
Okay, and I did not go through and comb everything. It's just when I went through and I saw different things, like there's the parking lot, there's gouges in the parking lot. Who's fixing that? Are those fixed?
Yeah, those will be fixed, yeah.
Will be?
Yeah.
The fence, that south end, I mean, that's right there, our beautiful football field, and then our fence is wavy on the south end. And that will be fixed? That can be fixed? And that's all Naples' responsibility?
Yes.
Okay. And so there's no other items. I noticed that there was in the auditorium where it's rough, where the concrete wasn't ground down smooth. Has that been taken care of?
Probably
All these things should be on our punch list that you should be taking care of.
Alan, I would guarantee you, we'll take care of everything that we can. Yeah.
But are we taking care of it, or is Naples? Because that means we're
I think I've
paying for
answered
it.
this before multiple times. Naples is our construction managers. They handle all this. They'll be here for a year, and they'll handle everything that we need to take care of. Not worried about it.
And it doesn't cost us anything.
No.
So any board member would be more than allowed to have a tour between now and a year from now.
Yeah, I just don't think it's
I mean,
probably
I got it, but-
advantageous for Alan to walk through it.
I understand.
Pick for.
I get it. But there's
You're right,
We
it
have,
should be
we
you.
have professionals, and then we hired a company, Naples, and they've taken care of it. If you look at that punch list, it's like 15 pages of multiple items.
but that's an option instead of discussing each and every one of these. Okay. Anything else? Good from your standpoint?
Yep.
Okay. As I move through my life, moving the last child's moving up through the school system, I will tell Mr. Albers, I shared with Mr. Wilson, I am a 7th grade parent again, and I was tingly to watch our kids in Garden City. in their new uniforms, with their new helmet. We looked good. And then they were traveling in Hayes High buses with the same thing, and my son was ecstatic to be part of that group and to be on and off that bus and to travel. And I don't know who came up with the genius idea, but the 7th graders came back when they were done, didn't wait for the 8th graders so they could function at school the next day. And so I would like to shout kudos out for our school district for making our kids look very presentable and professional as 7th and 8th graders could be. For-
Yeah, thank you. That's
No.
what, because that just doesn't happen easily. All those things, a lot of people put in a lot of time last year to make sure that happened last week. So kudos to Tom and Bruce and Shauna at middle school when they changed their logo and the colors and everything that went into that. So sometimes the high school gets a little more accolades on all that, but man, middle school's done a tremendous job, and sometimes we haven't recognized the work that they've done and the work that they have in front of them. So, yeah.
I would have never known if I wouldn't have been a 7th grade
Yeah.
football dad. And as crazy as it sounds, in Garden City, I think there was just as many of us there than there was of the home team. It was crazy that way. So parents had to be proud
Yeah.
that we're there. And so anyway, I wanted to share. Okay. Anything else? All right, let's move on to 6 action and discussions items. 6.1 is an action item of the Hayes Middle School presentation display panels.
Okay, these are just the display panels will be placed in every classroom at the future middle school at 2300. It's just how we're going to project in the classroom. It's what our district is doing in every space. You have the quote from KCAB for $69,328.05 cents. This is, once again, we're very fortunate. The Hayes 489 Foundation has given the middle school $32,315 to assist with the needs at Hayes Middle School with their transition during this school year. And so those funds will be used to offset the total of the $69,328.05 for the purchase of the classroom display panels. So thank you, Hayes 489 Foundation, for their work and their generous offer to help with that. Oh, Scott's up there. I'm sorry. Well, I got this big column. I didn't see him at all. I got to lean out.
It's like that baseball commercial where that guy tries to say,
Okay, go for it.
Everything he just said.
We're ready for you, sir.
Honestly, everything he said. I'm just here if there's any questions about the devices, anything that's come up.
Are they touch screen? Are they TVs? Are they smart boards?
They are not touchscreen.
What is it?
It's the same thing that we put in at the high school, 75-inch, non-interactive. And the interactive, that's been it's a roller coaster. It comes around, it goes away, it comes back, and just for the cost investment in those interactive displays. And then some lessons learned with the high school, because originally the high school was spec'd as interactive. We adjusted them back, but in that process, we never adjusted the install heights, so we gotta go back and clean that up. So lessons learned with non-interactive, you can get them a little higher up the wall, get a better view on them. I will tell you, one of the things that I was concerned with at the high school was the size. 75 doesn't sound, quite big enough, but the trade-off in the resolution that those screens will project versus what the projectors will project. So far, I've been pleasantly surprised in the classrooms. Sitting in the back and being able to see that. So, and I hope staff are feeling the same way.
What do we currently have at the middle school currently and the old Hayes High? What's in there now?
Projectors, Epson 98Hs for the most part. They were installed 10 years ago when I started here.
Okay. What's the plan for those?
Honestly, we'll go to a recycler. At 10 years old, there's little, if any, value in them. Some are failing out, some aren't. The bulbs, the manufacturer stopped making the bulb for them, so we have to buy third-party off Amazon for them.
So you'll report back on that, how that works, and
Yeah,
and how much you got out of all those and how many you have. And so, but there are also some monitors and some TVs too. What's the plan on those?
At the current,
Yeah.
we would take anything as far, I mean, if it's a large enough flat panel display, I mean, we'll put it into use where we can.
Is there some around different places?
Yeah, there are. There's some in 2300, the old, what'll be the new middle school has some in there. The old high school, or the old middle school has some there. And really what you run into, and I'm not saying that we don't want to use them, because we will. We'll put them to use where we can. But buying these displays, these are commercial rated displays, so they're designed to be on 24/7. And they have a warranty on them. If I go out to Walmart and buy, 75-inch Vizio TV, the burn time that I've got on that, the brightness rating's not the same. And as soon as I buy that and hang that on a wall in the school, I void the warranty.
You talked about those before.
Yeah.
Is that what we have at Roosevelt?
No, Roosevelt's the same displays.
Same
In that
display.
new edition, yep, we did the same 75-inch displays.
When we did those,
Yep,
we talked about this,
Yep.
about that. It's a higher, better display.
yeah. It's rated for what the teachers will put it through, because some of them, they like to get there in the morning and there's stuff on that screen all day long.
Are we doing that at a Laughlin?
In the addition, well, yeah. I mean, at this point, we've done it with Roosevelt, we've done it with high school. If we do it with middle school, I would just like to keep that
So
direction
that's our
rolling.
standard, and next something goes out, we're going to replace it with that probably.
Yeah, it makes it easier for us to support from the technology. Instead of, okay, I've got a Vizio or I've got a ViewSonic, one can do one can't do another feature. It just makes it easier for us to standardize on that.
And how long did you say the warranty was? Did you say a year?
I will have to double check, but I want to say there's 3-year warranties on them.
That's pretty good.
Anybody else?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Okay, so the total is $69,328.05, and with the foundation's amount of $32,315, that leaves approximately $37,013. Is that what our motion needs to be then, Ron?
Well, I think we need to approve, because you're going to expend, we're gonna send a check
Okay.
to KCAB.
So it needs to be for that
Yeah.
full amount.
The foundation's going to.
And then the foundation's reimbursing us. That's how it works, right?
Okay.
I make a motion to approve 55 large format presentation display panels for Hayes Middle School for $69,328.05 from KCAB.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Seeing no more discussion, we shall call for the vote. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, no. 6-0. Passes 6-0. Next item is 6.2, a discussion item, naming of facilities, events, and/or activities. A quick scenario or discussion of what we have before us. On 6.2, there are some links down there. Those were provided to Mr. Wilson from Ruth. That's correct? Okay. So that's where those came from. So let the discussion begin.
All right, I would like to, I'll start. I just first want to say, again, thank you to Golden Belt Bank for stepping up and coming up with the idea. As I was researching all of this, that's why I wanted discussion at the last meeting, just so we could talk about it. Now we have a deadline of Monday the 15th with Golden Belt if they're offering $200,000. I wanted the discussion to be, do we need to come up with policies, those types of things that maybe we could have had it resolved before then with everybody's intent. Now we're at a deadline for the 15th with this tremendous offer of $200,000. We recently just talked about raising taxes, and then here you're given an opportunity to take $200,000 that is given from Golden Belt Bank. When I was at this football game Thursday night, Bickle-Schmidt Athletic Complex has a banner at the front of their new stadium that says naming opportunities are available for this building and all other at Fort Hays State University. To learn more, call this. So it is a thing. I know it's seen more at colleges, but it's something that we have to prepare for. I've heard people concerned in the community that it's going to be called Golden Belt Indians. It's going to be on the middle of the football field with their logo. That is not true. So those are the discussion things we need to have as to what it's going to be. I'm very proud to be an Indian. I've heard about those things coming forward as well, that, let's just let it lie for a while, that we finally have our own field. But when you're looking at increasing revenue, folks, this is the way to do it. And I'm not just talking the football field. I'm talking the auditorium. I'm talking the basketball courts, the tennis courts, the auditorium for musicals and music. I mean, the opportunity is there. All those articles that I had submitted were not even close as some of them were that Golden Belt is offering. Most of them were 10 years that I researched, and I just found that was, and they had twice the students. Most of them were Texas and Florida. I think Minnesota had some. One article I found was Dodge City had recently talked about this. Now, I don't know if we need to look at regulations or if it's allowable to do that in the state of Kansas, if this is allowable. That's why I wanted the discussion at the last meeting. Now we're here on a time constraint again. But I'm for this type of thing. I do think we need to develop a policy for these types of things, maybe expose us to all, but in the defense of our kids and our community, I think this is where we need to be headed, and I don't think it's offensive in any way. We've played at Lewis Field and have been the Indians on Lewis Field since Hayes High has begun. So, and we had no problem saying we're playing at Lewis Field all those years. So saying it's Golden Belt Field or whatever field we decide it's going to be, or if we decide to go that route, I do not think it's offensive in any way. I think community pulling together and Golden Belt coming forward to do it, especially as alumni of Hayes, is great. The only thing that I looked at was, what is the downside? I kept asking myself, what is the downside of this? And I couldn't come up with anything, because it's funds in our pocket. It's free funds. And to me, that's positivity for our community, and it's positivity for the high school.
I would like to add a couple of things. I voted no at the last meeting not because I didn't want to talk about it. I very much did want to talk about it, but I just was not prepared. I have some data that I've taken. I've been talking to a lot of community members, teachers, and coaches. So I have the data from them, and then I've been taking some notes on what our promotion packages entail, and I was not prepared for that conversation without this information. If I would have had previous warning, I would have brought it, and it would have been a different conversation. But I do think it's important to note that yes, the Hayes High Indians have played on Lewis Field for decades, but they weren't happy about it, which is the whole reason we've been pushing and trying to get our own stadium. Playing on Lewis Field was not our field. Now, that has changed because now we do have our own field. Not to say that the naming rights are going to take that away from us, but there was the whole debate of kids just wanted to have their own stadium. They wanted to have their own locker rooms. They wanted to have their own place, and now we do. Another thing I would like to point out is this is not $200,000 of free money or free funds. It is a purchase. There is things that should be documented, and there are things that it's entailed. It is not just a simple here's money and do what you want with it. I think we need to talk about what it goes towards. So what I did is I looked at our packages, our partnerships for the super anchor, the anchor, and the premier, and looked at the length of those and the price of those and what they all entailed. And then I even called Ron today to get the dimensions of that so I could see what kind of square footage we're dealing with and what that should be proportional to, and what we could reasonably ask or expect, or what this should go to. Now, I will say every single person that I asked their opinion on, whether it be teachers or coaches or community members, if I said, what are your feelings on this? Every person went, ooh, and then followed it with, well, if the price is right. And I think that speaks a lot to the state of education right now. We want it to be for the kids, and we want it to belong to the kids. However, we need funds. And that's the whole reason I voted no earlier on raising raising the limit or whatever, because the funds have to come from somewhere, and I think that this is a viable option to replace that issue, which is why I voted no on that, and I want to talk about how we can really help our kids with this. Now, what should it entail is a really important conversation, because it's not going to include the logos on the field. Some places do have logos on the infield, however, turf is very expensive, and at this point, we cannot change it, and we cannot change it for probably 8 to 10 years, so like that's off the table at this point. However, we can include things like the revolving banner on our big old digital screen. We can include signage on the fencing and the bleachers. We can include, we had ads in-game and we had ads like pre-game, and then we can include directional signage on the field. We can include directions on like that are sent to schools and parents and that are posted on websites, whatever. We can also include things like first down sponsorships and family passes to the games. Those are all things we could include to this package to sweeten the deal. However, it needs to go towards the field. Replacing the turf is expensive, and I think the value of this needs to be at least half the cost of the turf, at least, if not half to 75%. So it's about $600,000 to $800,000 to replace the turf every 8 to 10 years. So if we average that out, I'd say about $70,000 a year needs to go into like our savings account to spend up for that. So I'd say anywhere from $35,000 to $40,000 a year would be what I think is fair. Now, one thing that we cannot promise is media. I asked a lot of questions to quite a few people. The contract is with Hayes High. The contract is not with
Eagle.
1019, the Bowl, Eagle, whatever. The contract is with Hayes High. So there is no way that we can forcibly say they have to call it ABC Field 4 times during a game. That has to be a contract specifically with them, because that's considered advertising via radio. I don't know, but that we can't enforce that. But we can give promos, and we can give recognition, and we can do it in a way that's respectful to our students who are still playing on their fields.
I would say to that their contract says media coverage, news releases, and public announcements, and we have control over those things. We have control over our news releases, our public announcements, and then any media coverage, meaning the guy that's sitting there announcing the game, that's part of Hayes.
That's part of Hayes, but not part of Eagle. So
Right.
if it's like Dan Ballman announcing at the stadium, yes, we have control over that, and we can say, you need to refer to this as such, but we do not have control over Eagle. They are there just as like a partnership covering the game for our community, not for us.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think that that's what they're asking here when they say that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that is, Mr. Jigger have...
I wasn't necessarily talking to that. I was talking
Okay.
in general, like if we're talking about naming rights, this is what we can control and what we cannot control.
Okay. Mr. Park?
I'll go ahead and listen to this.
Megan?
I felt similarly swishy to all of the people that Jamie talked to. All of my contacts responded similarly as well. It's weird. How much does it cost to replace the turf? It is an enormous expense. I also did want to check against our partnership packages that we already established and the rules in those. And I do see, when we put those out there and we asked for a 3-year commitment, I also looked up at our history, and our current sponsors, our current partners, most of them have committed to 3 years, but some of them have committed to 10. And I think that's, but those are all the lower level partners. I feel like I don't don't know the reason that Lewis is on the Lewis Field. I do know that many naming rights are money related, and I also know that other naming rights are not. And I am extremely hesitant to just say no to something like this, but I would like for the plan to be in place first, to see what it is that we are agreeing to, rather than to be surprised with an offer that we didn't even get to take home to look at. Like, that felt
I agree.
untoward. It felt untoward. So, as you know, but I also agree that putting off the discussion, all of this digging took about an hour. So that amount of digging that I was interested in doing, we're here. We do have a deadline now. Is it a negotiation, is my question. Is this a negotiation, or is this a one and done offer? I feel like if we could say, yes, we're interested in this, are you firm, or is there room on anything? Is it the same amount for 5 years, or more for the 10-year bracket? Because as Jamie said, just replacing the turf is significantly more than what this sponsorship is. And if it's less than 10 years from now, then I don't really understand. I don't think it's worth giving up what we'd be giving up. But I am interested in the conversation.
Okay.
I think if it's worth doing, it should be done right. And not only one field, we've got 5 fields that we've got to try to figure out, because they're all going to be due at the same time.
Sure.
And that's something we need to plan for, and it's going to be a huge amount of money if we continue to do this. And I agree with you, Ruth. I think we should go through it and take the time. This is policy, and that's our job, is to work on policy. And I think it should be fair to give the opportunity to everybody somehow, so it's fair that anybody has an opportunity to take it. It just doesn't seem right that just whoever thinks of it gets to do it unless we know what we're doing.
I have a question. Who came up with the super anchor and premier packages?
We did, as
Can
administrators.
you,
Daktronics, I mean,
It was
off of Daktronics template,
Yeah.
and then we came up with what was,
But we felt was fair.
what met our community.
so financially, 25% of the cost to replace the turf, I don't think is enough. But I understand that asking $40,000 a year is like, just for a couple of signs, like, come on. I understand that as well. My question is, can you guys work to create a package that includes signage that's worth it, sponsorship that's worth it, family passes, all of those things that could be included, that would take this to worth $40,000 a year, so that we could make the best impact for our kids and still representing the community well?
And you're referring to the naming of the field for $40,000. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple.
Okay. I do have a few comments as well.
When you're done.
Are you done?
No, I haven't said
Or,
anything yet.
yeah, do you want to go first, or?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. First of all, I don't believe we have a deadline. The bank that's proposing has a deadline, so I do not believe we have a deadline. The naming of USD 489 facilities belongs to the community of Hayes, not a business or an entity. All of us were at the ribbon cutting. Specifically, what's talked about at the end of that end zone is the words Hayes. It does not say Hayes High School. It belongs to all of us. It's not, and it doesn't say blank blank field. It belongs to the kids that play football, the kids that are on the band, the kids that are at soccer. It belongs to the community of Hayes. So I don't think it, for that reason. People that visited with me, I got the same vibes from everybody, except for I visited with 2 or 3 at the bank that's making the proposal. So I understand why they're probably for it. But parents, teachers, administrators, current, past coaches, I talked to all those. Also, I did a little research. I will speak about it again, but the purchase that's being offered to us is $200,000 for 10 years. Again, I visited with the AD at Scott City. They are not selling the naming rights of anything. They sold 4 30-yard advertisements at $200,000 for 8 years. They have 20 to 30 advertisements in the end zones. I just took the 20 on the bottom end of the note. They're at $30,000 a piece for 8 years. This contract we're being offered was for 10. That to me comes up to $600,000. So for 8 years, they're dealing with $1.4 million. So their budget is their purchase is $175,000 per year, and we're talking about an offer of 20 per year. That is not the same to me. So that's where I stand on that. If going forward, if the board decides that we're in favor of naming things, I do believe that we ought to be the ones calling the shots. I visited with Mr. Wilson about this as well, because I was trying to refer back to when we had the committees and we were talking about branding with the colors and the sayings and all that stuff. We did not go to detail. Again, with Ruth and Jamie are talking about, I think a committee of that type would be a wonderful thing to at least have those discussions, because I believe on these few points that all businesses or entities should have the same opportunity, as Mr. Park talked about. We should decide to contract. I've read both contracts, the ones that we're using at the scoreboards. I also read the contract of the proposal that we were offered, and the signage in the contract that we were offered is, I have some questions about that as well. But we need to decide the contract, what signage they get, where they get it. I think we should be in charge so that it matches with our deal, the length of the contract, the value of the contract, and the privileges that we're going to grant with that contract. Like you said, the naming, we're going to call it this during the ballman or the soccer game, and how many times or what have you. We should also decide what we're going to be allowed to be named. There's going to be lots of offers if they're going to be coming in the door of naming this and that. I mean, the cafeteria to classrooms to hallways to a lot of things are going to come down the pipe. So I think we need to be prepared on what we're going to allow, or we're going to spend lots of time deciding yes, no on that deal. Also, back to, and this was the comments I got from probably most of the financial people, was the money that you would generate from doing this needs to be allocated to be used for replacement and upkeep, because we are going to get hit with a bill 7, 8, 9 years down the line to replace all that turf, because it's all new right now, and we're going to be looking for some substantial money if they all the turfs expire at the same time. So again, I would be in favor if that discussion happens with a committee or what have you, that money is earmarked or designated for a fund. So those are my comments.
So what I'll say, one of the first things I'll say, our football season's starting. This is the offer we got. I'm not saying that this has to be the only offer we take or look at. I'm just saying this is the offer we got. And one of the things I do want to say, I don't think Golden Belt Banks had ill intentions at all. I think they were trying to help their community and help our school district. And so I don't at all want to belittle their efforts here. And I'm with Ruth, if this was something we could have discussed sooner rather than waiting, it would have been better. We didn't get anything, as was mentioned, until this weekend. We hadn't even looked at the plan, but we did have, our attorney had looked at it and told us some things about it, and told us I mean, when we look at it, when I look at this plan, I mean, most of the things you said you want, except for making sure to cover the cost of replacing it, most everything else is on here. Now, I didn't see the plan for the sign, that's not on here. But the only thing I see is that they pay for the sign, but I didn't see it, because it said Appendix A, and I don't have that. But I will say, now I got to say the other thing is, I don't think I hang out in completely different circles as y'all, but the people I talked to really were very much in support of this. Anything where a business comes to help out their community, they're for it. And free money, I get that you may feel it's not enough, but this was a generous offer. And I'll agree, maybe we look at other things, because honestly, if we're not going to bring this to a vote yes, then we're going to miss that deadline, which is their deadline. Like you said, it's not our deadline. But I understand they have to keep a budget. They need to know when they can't hold this money out there for us forever. I understand also the other thing that was brought up by you, Mr. Viner, was there's not another school, high school in the state, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't look into it. It doesn't mean that it's not an opportunity for us. As Ruth brought to us, there's several schools across the United States that have done it and succeeded with it. The other thing I want to put out there too is, we've gone years where we're not making any money at our games, or if we do, I don't know how much it is. It's little, because we were using Lewis Field, and we're going to have a lot of opportunities here. We're going to be having funds coming in from concessions, which isn't going to be great, and a lot of it's going to go back to it. I get it, but there'll be funds. There's funds to be had from the fact that we own our own facilities now. And not outside of just this naming, but I mean, for every game, there's funds to be had. And so we've never had that before. So part of that can go also into redoing the field and everything too. It's a long-term thing we need to look at. These are my thoughts. I think this is good. I'm not upset at them are against this plan just because they were the first ones to come to us and the only ones who came to us with it as the football season was starting. And so I get that we want to have a policy going forward, but I don't think this is a bad plan. And when I look through what they propose, I don't see any red flags in there. Those are my thoughts.
Okay.
And I would add, when we went to the start of school, when we were at Hayes High that day with all the teachers, and Randy Watson was there, and he said, be the first to brag about yourself, be the first. And I think that really stuck with me, because I thought it doesn't always have to be what Kansas City did or Manhattan or whatever. We can be the first. We're known. We're in the state of Kansas. People see us. I mean, look at our football team Friday night. We were seen. I think it doesn't always have to be somebody else we have to copy or mimic. I think we can stand on our own 2 feet and become our own important district of starting something in the state of Kansas.
What would it take to get a committee together?
You guys just say we're going to get a committee together and that's it.
So if we were to get a committee together to determine what would be appropriate to name, what wouldn't be appropriate to name, and everything that would go with it, who do we feel should be on that committee? Because I'm thinking educators should be on that committee, community members should be on that committee, business leaders, business owners. Should students be on the committee? Should board members be on the committee?
Is this a job for the foundation that they would take up for us, or is this
Probably not.
something?
I don't think it's probably.
Not the things,
What we're
the
referring to
management
as far
of
as
it,
committee,
perhaps, the committee.
yeah, I think it's more us figuring out who we want to be a part of.
I think you'd want to include the kids that are involved in those activities, and probably activity directors, coaches in that. I would probably also invite the sports media, Armbruster or Wellbrook, one of those that probably have seen it, probably
So where do we draw the line? Because we're not even just talking about sports, we're talking about the Performing Arts Center.
That's
we're talking
correct.
about
That is
the
correct.
Media Center, we're talking about classrooms.
There's classrooms,
bathrooms.
Well, my question would be.
departments,
I
there's
bet-
departments.
I bet my daughter doesn't think that we're playing on Lewis Field. I bet my daughter doesn't think that we're playing on Wagner Field at K-State. I bet my daughter doesn't think the Chiefs are playing at Jihad Field. She's thinking it's Chiefs Kingdom, it's Fort Hays State Tigers, it's Hays High Indians. I don't know that kids necessarily would have that impact of, I'm playing on Golden Belt Bank Field or whatever the field would be. I think it's Hays High Field. So I want to be a little bit cautious.
I think if they,
I mean,
but if they're, I think every student that's pulling into that school 5 days a week that sees the signage will know what field they're playing on.
oh yeah, but I agree. I mean, I agree there, Kurt, but I mean, as far as when you say it, you say we play at home, right? You don't say, you don't
No,
say play at Lewis Field.
when I played on the high school field.
Right.
When I played.
on the high school field.
But it
Say Lewis Field.
so, okay.
I worry about making a committee that's too big,
Yes,
no decision will ever be made.
That's correct.
I agree.
And I worry about the timeliness of
So how about the activities director?
Are you making a suggestion?
A motion,
Are you making a suggestion?
a suggestion.
Okay. So,
The activities director, a
Okay.
board member.
okay, so both activities director, because I'm
Yes.
talking, because it's going to leak down to the middle school.
Yep.
Because there's fields there too.
Well, and we need to discuss fields that have already been named,
I can only think of one.
too. The Jim Masca track and the Leo.
This is the gym mat
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
on the middle school, the old high school? Okay. I was not aware of that. Okay.
Two activity directors.
Both activity directors,
Yeah, sorry in advance.
okay, one administrator from both buildings?
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Well, wouldn't that count as an administrator? I don't.
That's fine. If that's, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Are the activity directors
Are we
sports
giving-
only?
I don't think Mr. Rupp's is, I don't know.
Are we giving a job to somebody who doesn't report to us?
She's trying to, or do you want to wait till the workshop? It's up to you guys.
I mean, I'm okay with putting this together, but I do think they deserve to have their opinions heard. I think
Yep.
activity directors and then maybe a representative at each meeting that's either a coach or like an activity leader or something, they have a say in it. And if we're going to name things that are not activity athletic related, then teachers need to, you know what I mean?
I agree. And I also think somewhere in there early on, we should invite the public to, because like Mr. Brooks says, he hears from this group. I'm telling you, the group I heard from, your group, this, I think we ought to allow, much like we did the branding thing. You know, if they have comments, then,
Sorry to be adding more to your plate.
so anyway.
And
Get on
you
it.
need to stress business, because that's where the money's coming from. It's coming from the businesses.
Sure.
Those are the people that have stepped up.
So,
That needs to be big.
I can put together a committee, I'll bring it back to you, and
That-
it's not going to be by the 15th, though, that's the problem, so. Well,
But you-
we wouldn't have a decision by the 15th, but,
But you can give us an outline.
yeah, I can give you an
Sure,
outline,
sure.
and if you want to include more,
I'm fine with that.
And I understand that they have a deadline of the 15th, and I recognize that, and I'm still thankful that they brought forth, like, I've never once said that they're the devil or whatever, I don't know. I just
No, I would,
brought forth an idea with funds attached to it, and I think what we're going to come up with and present to them is going to be different, so we can present it back to them, and if they are interested, they can bring forth whatever.
yeah. Well, Jamie, I would tell you, that's my personal bank. And I talked to the president, I talked to a vice president, and they understand, they wanted to help, which we all appreciate, but they also understand that we have to make decisions that are in the benefit of this school district. And so, and I had conversations with both of those individuals for probably 15 minutes. And so I don't, there's no ill will. I think if it's worth that to them now, it'd be worth it to them 3 or 4 months from now. Or another entity, but I think because they were first doesn't mean that it's theirs. Because somebody else wants to be first for something else, then we're going to have lots of firsts. So if Mr. Wilson, if we can make that happen, that would be wonderful. Okay, Mr. Park, in the consent agenda, we had 6.3. Is that where it's at? Because I didn't refresh. So 6.3, Mr. Park, that is an action item. Would you like to ask your questions?
Have that gone through so that we can, before we make the decision?
You want Mr. Hip to just discuss it?
Sure.
Okay. Would you be so kind?
Sure.
Thank you.
So when we put together the packages, worked with Daktronics on the original purchase of the scoreboards, we basically immediately were able to sell the anchor, the super anchor, the anchor, and a couple of the, we're going to remember, tell me what the
Founders.
Super Anchor, Anchor, and Premier.
The Premier partner. We hadn't sold any of the Founder partners yet. What goes with the Founder partner is one static sign, so there's 4 spots available, one on either side of the 2 scoreboards in the gold gym, which is a smaller gym. We've now, Mr. Grease hit the ground running, and day one, basically started a conversation with the insurance guys. They ran it through their ranks. They want to purchase one of the 4 available Founder partner packages, so they will have a sign next to one of the scoreboards in Gold Gym, and as well as the digital package. The digital package across Founder and Premier, I think, are the same. The difference is the fact that they have static signage now in Gold Gym.
So how is this advertised? How do people know about it? Just word of mouth?
Word of mouth, yeah, basically word of mouth. In the very beginning, we invited a swath of different businesses and business owners to do a tour of the facility and talk about it in the beginning. Since then, it's been word of mouth, and this was.
So we don't have a place on our website?
No, one of the things that we talked about is we can put, now that we will start having some home games, we'll start digital advertising.
Sponsorships or.
Our own little ad thing going, because we'll have, those Premier, we can sell a larger amount
Okay.
of those because they're digital only, so we'll do a little bit of advertising for ourselves also.
Okay.
I don't think Jay's going to charge us to do it. I think we get ours for free.
Listen, if he charges you, he has every right.
Okay.
So you explain where does the money go?
Money
And
goes into capital outlay, and as we had talked about, we are planning now for replacement of all of these things. So if you look at the capital outlay plan, we talk in terms of 5 years, which is that's a relatively stretch, but we're only talking in 5 years. Our capital outlay plan goes out 25 years. So we have mapped out when we're going to have replacements of all the different turfs and all of the different things that will age out over time. So yes, all that money right now from any of the advertising packages is going into capital outlay. One of the board's requests was pay off the scoreboards first and then use it for, right? That was kind of the conversation.
That was a conversation.
At the time of passing it, which, so the bottom line, it's all going into capital outlay to help fund all of the projects and things on the horizon.
so in capital outlay, is there a fund that's for replacement, or is it all just together? I mean, how do we?
I don't have a budget line, like right now, I don't have a budget line for replacement because that's probably, because I think we're going to want to avoid, I've reached out to some different people to try and figure out the best way to do this, but bottom line is, no, I don't have a budget amount for replacing that this year. We have a placeholder and as we look at that capital outlay plan, that we project all of our carryovers and everything else, we know, to help us know where we need to be in that carryover number to be where we need to be in 10 years.
So where is the 25-year plan somewhere?
Yeah, it's on a server file. I don't have, it's not something that I can like print and hand to you. I can do a
What is that?
screenshot of it, but it's.
50 pages?
Yeah, it goes out. we don't,
I
it's
love,
here, but it's not.
I would love to read it, just because I'd love to.
Okay.
I don't, yeah.
As we do the next, we'll continue, like I would say, we want to keep working in the 5-year future because that's where our immediate decisions are, but we can show you some of the things that project on out to 35 when
Yeah,
gym floor
absolutely.
replacements are going to be and things like that.
Well,
So
that's where the
interesting.
realistic costs are going to be, is that 5-year, because
Yeah, I mean, everything after that is a placeholder. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to know. Yeah, it's hard to know. But yeah, we can pull that up and kind of talk through it as we update the 5-year plan.
Did I hear, we have a 25-year capital outlay?
Well, I mean, so we have placeholders in our
Okay, that
capital
pla-
plan.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we work in the 5 years.
No, I understand. I knew, yes, okay, just,
Yeah.
so the capital outlay somewhere knows 7 or 8 years that lots of turf is, okay. I'm just asking, okay.
Yep.
Mr. Parker, you satisfied?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Would you please entertain a motion, please?
Can I
Oh,
ask a-
well, go ahead, I'm sorry, Ruth.
Okay, so this is for advertising. Am I understanding this?
Yeah, this,
It's for
we call it the marketing package.
Okay, so how is this contract different than what we just talked about with Golden Belt? Why wouldn't we have a conversation about this? Am I
Yeah.
looking at that
didn't we
right?
have a conversation?
I mean, we've had conversation, so over the course of, because we also did, at the same time, we had conversation with the Super Anchor and Premier, we also talked about the fact that we didn't name them, but the middle school sold advertising in their new gym, and that money went towards purchasing the wrestling mat. We needed new wrestling mats there.
Okay, so a perfect example, Chris. So Bob Cohn Wrestling Tournament brings in more money, so you should pay more for that ad space. So the Hay City Shootout pays, I mean, you should pay for, that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say. Should we look at that too?
And as a marketing
As a
package, I
marketing,
think that's.
I mean, look at all the people you're
Sure.
getting.
Yep.
That's
That's what,
why I'm asking.
no, and I think I've shared with, during our pre-meetings, but there's lots of activities. Like the one I suggested, because I have an easier time voting yes for an activity than naming something that belongs to the kids in this community, but it could be I'm making up a name, the John Wayne kickoff game, or whatever business that wants to, and I think the activities is
That's interesting.
but we have baseball tournaments, we have track meet, those have,
We're gonna have
and,
this year.
and if the contract is designed on a 5-year thing, then the next business that comes in, if they want to, then that's easy, and that's not a permanent, and that is not attached. So, but anyway, so I
And where's that money gone?
what, to what?
We've had those events, or this game is sponsored by this business.
It goes.
No, I think
literally
that-
to
Did
fund,
this-
to
and then
fund
you
the
change-
events.
Yeah.
Because some of these tournaments
Yeah, I don't know
did
that
not
answer.
for profit for a while. Some of these tournaments cost the district money.
Well, in a long time, till this year, we were sending Fort Hays a check to use all the fields. And so we're already money ahead on
Yeah.
that deal. So, alrighty, can I entertain,
Motion
please.
To approve the contract with the insurance guys for Hayes High Marketing Partnership Founder Partner Package. Gosh, the Founder Package. Yep,
As presented, Tom.
as presented.
Pickled as pickled peppers, huh?
It is a long
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have, Mr. Parks has a second. Any more discussion? Seeing no more discussion, we shall call for the vote. All those, did you have to refresh the, yeah, mine popped up.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, no. 6-0, I assume.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
It has been moved. All those in favor of adjourning, vote yes. Yes. All those opposed, no. 5-1.
That just popped up.
Are you up? Yes, miss. Are you, yes. Are you abstaining? Okay, 5-1. It passes 5-1. We are adjourned.
Good time until we go to 6.
Yeah, my
Yeah, it's only 5:45.
daughter is...
Hey, Scott, somebody move that clock.